Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new update video on the channel today. Hope you're keeping well and have had a good weekend so far. Lots to jump into since my video. I think it was on Friday afternoon, evening. Been quite a few updates over the weekend. So I wanted to make sure that I keep you guys as up to date as I can. I know there's a game later on today. Fingers crossed Wolves can get some more points on the board against Nottingham Forest, but we will jump into all the latest news. Before we jump into that though, today's video is brought to you by our channel partners over at Stocks FC. Stocks FC is the football stock market where you can buy stocks in your favourite players and earn cash rewards based on real world performances. Now, they're giving away 5 free stocks to every user that signs up this month to get you started and give you a chance to familiarise yourself with the platform. Now, you can do that by using the QR code on the video or in the link in the top of the description as well. As you can see, I've got Totti Gomez, which is lovely to have a Wolves player. Unfortunately, he's injured at the moment, so I might not get as much joy out of him as I would want, but there's a few, obviously, different players that you can get, and it'll be interesting to see who some of you guys get in your loan players as well. And really, if you think you know your football, this is a great test for you because you can scout young new prodigies and buy them early before the price potentially rises, or buy stocks in proven stars such as the likes of Erling Haaland, who's all of a sudden started to find a little bit of form again. But you earn weekly dividend payments every time your players score goals, make assists, and even key passes. Now, your free loan stocks are eligible for cash reward payouts for 1 month, so why not get involved now? Click the link in the top of the description for 5 free loan stocks, so you get 2 more than what you normally would, and begin your journey with Stocks FC. So then let's jump into the Wolves news. Anyway, Matheus Cunha, we've had some massive news about him over the weekend. Now, there were whispers about this over the last few weeks about a brand new contract for Matheus Cunha, and there have been whispers about potential interest from Arsenal. But it sounds pretty solid and pretty likely now that Matheus Cunha is going to be signing a new contract at Wolves, and it could be confirmed within the next couple of weeks. This is massive for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Obviously, a little bit more protection on pretty much what the star asset is at the club at the moment. Look, does this mean Matheus is going to stay at the club for the foreseeable future? Maybe not past this season, but what it will do is give Wolves a little bit more security. Matheus will obviously have a big pay rise to hopefully look to keep him here, but also more than likely it will contain some sort of release clauses. Wolves are going to have a release clause just in case the club does get relegated at the end of the season, and I have no doubt there will be a release clause maybe for clubs in the Champions League or something like that as well. I've mentioned it before, probably the most notable sort of example of this was Jack Grealish at Villa when Man City got him. He signed a new deal, they put a release clause in, and basically if you wanted to buy him, you had to pay that money, and I think we will start to see the same with Matheus as well. But Wolves are never interested in selling him this month. I know a few Arsenal fans are getting a little bit too excited about the potential of bringing the Brazilian in, but phenomenal player, of course. We're missing him for the next 2 games. Hopefully we see him back to his best when he returns in a couple of weeks' time. Emmanuel Agbadou. Now, when I recorded the video on Friday, it was looking likely, but didn't seem too close, but it accelerated quite a lot throughout Friday evening and Saturday. So Emmanuel Agbadou is very, very likely now to be a Wolves player. It's extremely close. Everything has pretty much been agreed. There is some expectation that he may well be at the game tonight, in attendance at the game. However, the signing isn't quite done yet. Wolves are just waiting on international clearance and visas for him before they can confirm this move. But Emmanuel Agbadou looks like he's going to be joining. Of course, when that is official, I'll do a video so you guys can learn a little bit more about the centre-back as well. But big physical talent, something that we probably do need a little bit more in that back three. And an exciting prospect. However, Wolves don't necessarily want to stop at Agbadou. There have been reports that Wolves are also interested in maybe bringing in another centre-back. Of course, they've been linked with many players. Kevin Danso, who has reportedly rejected Wolves. We saw at the start of the month that maybe he was the #1 target. For whatever reason, he said no to a move to Wolves. I don't know if that's from the player or from, obviously, Lens, his club. One of the other players that was linked previously was, again, from Lens, Abdulkadir Kuzanov, an extremely highly rated centre-back currently playing for Lens. It's expected that he's going to be moving on this month. In fact, their director of football, Pierre Dre Rossi, had said yesterday that he is very likely to go this month. They're just waiting for a good enough bid. Now, Jorge Mendes, the super agent, has been tasked with finding this next move, which I think makes a link to Wolves quite easy. However, you look at the clubs heavily linked. Fabrizio Romano keeps pushing this one. Manchester City, I've seen Real Madrid even linked with him today. So if I'm completely honest, I think a move for Kuzanov is probably unlikely. But if Wolves were to get involved, I think it would be a hell of a coup to sign the 20-year-old Uzbekistan centre-back. An interesting link yesterday as well. Hwang Hee-chan, who's had such a strange sort of 12 months, I would say, in a Wolves shirt, to be completely honest. Started last season phenomenally well. Went to the Asia Cup, had a little injury, and it was, to be honest, pretty much awful throughout the second half of last season. Really, really struggled to find any rhythm this campaign as well, up until the last couple of weeks, where he has scored in the last 2 games from his only 2 shots in the Premier League. I felt the performance against Spurs, he left a little bit to be desired still, despite him scoring the goal. However, he has been linked to West Ham United yesterday in the Telegraph. They've suggested that West Ham have a list of forwards that they're going to be targeting to bolster their front line this month. Evan Ferguson heads up that list, but Hwang Hee-chan is also involved in that list right now. And of course, Wolves rejected a bid from Marseille in the summer for over £20 million. So it'll be interesting to see if Wolves do sort of change their stance on that, and whether maybe Hwang will move on. But I think as of right now, with injuries and suspensions, it may be a deal that Wolves look to put on the back burner for now. But it's split the fan base, to be fair. I'd like to know your thoughts on that one. I think if the money's right, I probably would move Hwang on, but it'd be interesting to see what does happen with the forward. Of course, a potentially reuniting with Julen Lopetegui, the former Wolves head coach. Now, Mario Lemina's future at Wolves as well has got a lot of question marks over it. After the video I posted on Friday, it's been reported that Al Shabab are working on an agreement now for him. Apparently, Lemina is open to the move. He's given a green light to the move. Wolves want around €6 million, and Lemina has said that he wants to look for a new challenge. Of course, Saudi Arabia is going to be bringing the big bucks. On paper, Mario only has 6 months left on his contract, but Wolves do hold the option for an additional 12 months. So $6 million doesn't sound a hell of a lot, but for somebody that is potentially in the last 6 months of their deal, it's an okay amount of money. Vitor Pereira did make out that he wasn't going to be available for today's game against Nottingham Forest. However, he's been in training. He's posted graphics on his social media, so maybe he's going to have a place in the first team squad today. But Mario Lemina at the moment, question marks over his future. A potential replacement for him, which I mentioned on the last video as well, is Richard Rios from Palmeiras. Now, lots of reports from Brazil and even England yesterday on this one. Liam Keane at Express Star said he is a player that Wolves do admire, and it could be a position that Wolves look to go for and improve if Mario does move on. However, reports from Brazil are making out this is quite a difficult deal to complete. Palmeiras want Richard Rios for their Club World Championships, which is in the summer, so another 6 months or so away. He's got a release clause of 100 million, which apparently they're standing firm on. But other sources in Brazil suggest that a bid of around 20 million euros plus some bonuses is probably going to be enough to get the move done. So we'll keep an eye on that one right now. I think that's probably not anything Wolves will pursue short term unless Mario does move on and they feel the need to bolster that sort of area of the pitch. In terms of loan deals as well, there's been a few players that you've probably forgot even play for Wolves. Dexter Lembekisa, he's returned to Wolves after it's becoming a recurring theme, really. A failed loan spell, 4 appearances for Lembekisa for the Swiss club Verdun Sport. Wolves are looking to loan him out again for the second half of the season, but to another British club. And I say a recurring theme because that's been a few. Nathan Fraser, who has returned to the club recently, a failed loan spell for him over in Belgium. There's been a few players that just haven't. Chiquinho over in Spain as well. Some high-profile Wolves players really struggling to adjust to life elsewhere. Luke Kundal is another one that has been named on the bench over the season and highly expected that he's going to move on. Not too sure if it's going to be a loan deal or a permanent deal as of yet. But again, a lot of Championship clubs looking at him. Chem Campbell having quite a decent spell in League One with Reading. Reading are desperate to keep hold of him for the second half of the season because his loan, I believe, is due to expire any day now. Reading looking to hopefully keep hold of him. But Wolves know there is interest from elsewhere as well and may look to move him to another club if they think that suits him a little bit better. And to finish off, some non-league news as well from the Wolves 18s and 21s. Stan Amos, the goalkeeper, and Hayden Carson actually the son of Scott Carson, if you weren't aware, have joined Darlaston Town, the local team, on loan. You may remember Jimmy Storer, the Wolves youth goalkeeper, has been at Darlaston for the first part of the season. He's now returned to Wolves for now, so Stan Amos will take his place as goalkeeper, and Wolves are maybe looking at another option for Jimmy Storer for the second half of the season. So guys, that is all for today's Wolves news and rumours. As always, be sure to go and check out Stocks FC. I will leave a link in the top of the description. Of course, there's a QR code on the screen as well if you want to get involved with that. As always, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. Fingers crossed it's a win, or at least a point for Wolves tonight against Nottingham Forest. We'll be back with the post-match content, the podcast tomorrow, and of course keeping you up to date as much as we can with all the transfer news and rumours. Until next time though, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one.